What's going on, guys? This is Frank from the BI forums, and in this ArmA 3 related video, I want to show you guys how you can configure your Server.ArmA3Profile file. So to get started, you need to have a dedicated server, obviously, and a program to access the FTP. So in my case, I have Windows, and so I like to use the program WinSCP. WinSCP is a free open source FTP program, so that's what I use. If you want to use another program like FileZilla, FileZilla, by the way, is also compatible with Linux and maybe even Mac, so you might want to use that instead. Anyway, once you found a program that you like using to access the FTP of your dedicated server, also obviously make sure you have the info to your FTP. And then once you have the program to access it, go on your dedicated server's website, log in, and open up a ticket asking for assistance or permission to access the Server.ArmA3Profile file. So once I did that, my dedicated server provider created a folder in my server's directory. So what I had to do is double click on this folder. There's a server in there. I double clicked on that, and there's a file in here. It says Server.ArmA3Profile. That's what we're looking for. Right click it and go to edit. And this file will allow us to edit or change the very specific difficulty settings, as well as some other little video settings on the server side. So to get started, this stuff isn't really useful. This might be for verifying keys on the server and so on, but we're not going to focus on that. So from this class difficulties line all the way down to, all the way down to here, that's all the difficulty stuff. So for example, right here we have the recruit difficulty. So we could, let's say we want to run the server on recruit difficulty. We want to basically change all these. So we could disable third person, for example, right here. So third person view equals 1. And by the way, the rule to keep in mind for whether something is disabled or enabled is 0 means 0%, 1 means 100%. So 1 means enabled, 0 means disabled, and so on. And other things like some people don't know that death messages means that when you die on the server, by default, it'll say Hustler has been killed, and all players will see that broadcasted globally. But if you want to disable those death messages, basically just set it to 0, and there you go. You can also change the AI intelligence and accuracy and all that shit down here. And moving on. And by the way, Recruit seems to have the most settings that you can change, whereas Mercenary, Mercenary is elite difficulty, by the way, has much fewer settings that you can customize, so keep that in mind as well. Aside from the difficulties, we have the default difficulty set on the server. So once you've configured all your difficulties here, this command right here will select the difficulty that you want to use on the server. So Veteran will use the class Veteran, if that makes sense. So it'll use all these settings and right here. Anyway, after that, we have the video settings for the server. So we have scene complexity, shadow z distance, view distance, preferred object view distance, and terrain grid. So scene complexity, I think 1 million is the lowest value. So that basically means that there will be more LODs popping in and out. And if you set it to 7 million, for example, that's more like ultra object quality on the server. So setting it to the lowest will make the server run better. Just keep that in mind. Shadow z distance is basically the range that's shadows are rendered, so 200 is the highest value as far as I know, and 100 is the default. The lower you set it, the better performance, so there you go. View distance, of course, is view distance. If you don't have a script on the mission that is running on the server, or a mod that directly affects the view distance, basically if there's nothing on the mission or an add-on that affects set view distance or uses that command, then this is the value that will take precedence. This is basically the default value if it's not set in the mission or in a mod. So the view distance will be set to 1800 if it's not set in any other way in the mission or a mod. Same thing with object view distance, it's the exact same thing like I said. And then we have terrain grid. Terrain grid, the lowest setting is 50. So basically setting it to 50 means that there will be no grass, and there will be the terrain will be very jagged, so mountains will be very pointy and so on. If you set it to 1, for example, that would be the highest setting you could set it to. Think of basically 12.5 is what ultra terrain setting is. So you can actually set the terrain quality to be better than what you can set in the video settings. And 50 is basically low terrain settings for the server. So basically keeping it at stuff like this helps the server run better. So that's good to keep in mind as well. Then you could change up these volumes. These don't matter at all. I set volume VON to 0 because I don't use VON on my server, and this right here is the audio channels on the server. 96 is fine. You could set it lower if you want, or higher. Doesn't really matter. So anyway, that's all you really need to know. If there's anything else, there's a wiki actually about using the Server.ArmA3Profile file. So I'll put that in the description of the video, and you could look more into it if you want. But this is the gist of it, pretty much. So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, like it. If it wasn't, then dislike it. Anyway, see you in the next video.